at the hospital. A couple days later, the doctors called her in, and myself and my father and my wife, and let us all know Mother had cancer. You know, Mom was diagnosed with cancer. I was paralyzed. You know, it was as if the world was falling apart. She made it 3 years, and then she passed away. At that time, my wife and I were having troubles with our marriage. After I got hurt, I came out admitted, you know, I wasn't faithful in our marriage. She decided that she wanted to be out of the marriage, and I don't blame her. It was for the better. 2 years after my divorce, 3 years after my mother's death, my father had a heart attack. He passed away, so.
Oh, my dad was a wonderful, wonderful character. And he was a character, personality plus. I don't think that anybody's ever met my dad that didn't love him. And he loved motorcycles. He liked to race. I think that he lived through my brother at some point, because my brother could do what he just only dreamt of doing because he only had one leg.
Within 5 years, we had some rough water. I didn't want to live no more, so I started drinking again and doing dope, and you know, I was on a mission to get it over with.
And I knew that there was some form of a disconnect with Danny, but I didn't know he was partying that much. You know, he was a private guy.
One day there was this little boy came up to me and asked me if I would go and help him, you know, learn to ride.
I think it's a true measure of his manhood, how he just keeps fighting.
I went out and did a ride in school and worked with the boy and realized, you know, I saw myself through his eyes. And I started to grow from there. Started doing more and more riding schools and started going to hospitals and talking to other people who have been injured, you know, broken necks or a broken arm, and to let them know that, you know, keep up what you were doing because it does get better. All you have to do is believe and strive to be your best, and you can be. Sometime when I was in Santa Clara, I kept having these dreams that I wanted to be a car racer just because I was paralyzed and I couldn't be on 2 wheels. There was no reason for me not to be on 4 wheels.
Since Danny has no hand movement, he designed some special gloves that Velcro his hands onto the steering wheel. In the summer, Forest Hill gets too hot for Odyssey riding.
And I pull straight back, throttle, left, right, and then I built this chest brace right here to support me so I'm able to pull the throttle back. Without it, then I just pull my whole self forward. Promote races now. I enjoy promoting dirt bike races and mountain bike races.
Man, he's the one that makes it all possible up here, building the most radical courses I've ever seen. Let's hear it for Danny Magoo Chandler. Yeah.
You know, I enjoy putting on races to benefit the community. I'm not a person that wants a lot of money. I'm a person who wants to help the community reap the benefits of events.
Danny's a trooper, and he's still going wide open and doing things he wants to do. And
I can't really imagine anybody like him is going to come along again.
You know, and I sit and I watch, I watch TV today. You know, you watch freestyle, you watch motocross, and then you turn around on the same weekend and you watch car events, NASCAR or NHRA or any other type of motorsports. And you see that the rider representative, driver representatives are so much more in control of their sport, where motocross and motorcycles is more of a a free-for-all. Promoters and organizations are taking advantage of the riders. Riders don't have the ability to come together and stand together. You know, you finish 20th place in the national championships or the world championships. You should be making at least $100,000 a year.
If you're in the national or the world championship, yes.
Do you not think that 20th place deserves $100,000 a year?
Guarantee. Should be a guarantee.
Before a 1985 racing accident left Danny Chandler in a wheelchair, the man known to race fans around the world simply as Magoo took motocross to new heights. During his own racing career, Danny Chandler was known worldwide as one of the most fearless and skilled riders in the sport of motocross. Now as a coach, he sees a lot of himself through the eyes of young Brett Racine.
Very much. Very much. I know where he's at, mentally, physically.
Basically, we were counselors at his camps, and we'd go in there and he'd have us. First thing we'd do when we got there in the morning was run around the track twice. Thought, you know, what kind of motocross school is this? And it's like a drill, basically, like you're in the military. He'd have you out there with one hand on your helmet, both feet off your pegs, riding on the trails. And for what reason, I didn't know back then. By the time the end of the day rolls around, you ride the same trail with all your hands and feet on it. And you realize how good he really was at teaching people.
Now, we're going to talk a little about safety. It's really important. Now, Danny, why don't we kind of describe some of the stuff that Kevin's wearing for safety?
On his knees, we're wearing EVS.
When we first started doing all our schools, the first thing he would basically tell everyone is safety comes first.
I'm 16 and I ride 125 novice. It was a lot of fun. We learned how to ride in the mud. We learned coordination. He's not really like a teacher. He's just like a normal guy, you know. He'll tell you like straight up like if you're messing up or anything, and it taught me a lot.
You know, that's good to see. It's always good to see him stay close to the motocross community and where, you know, where he grew up, and even though he got hurt doing it, he's not staying away and still pushing the sport, and that's what it's all about.
So many parents are living their life through their kids, and they're pushing their kids a little bit too hard to succeed. So the message to the parents is not to live your life through your child. Yeah, two fingers on the brake. Good boy, good boy. Because you're going to damage them, and when you do, you're going to regret it. And if they want it, they'll get it. You know, you can't push too hard.
For the role he's played in American motocross and motocross in general, he needs a stronger position, because it was guys like him that sold tickets. No matter where he was on the track, it didn't matter. Like I said, it didn't matter if he was winning a race or if he was in last place. He was giving it 110% and charging, and people were cheering. You know, black, white, red, brown, everybody loved Magoo. You either hated him or loved him. You hated him because he was jumping on top of the guy that you wanted to win, or you loved him because he was picking his ass up off the ground and charging back to the front. And that's what our sport's all about. And he was the epitome of just give it all you got. I mean, shit, his name says it best, Magoo.
I tell a lot of kids, you know, your body is your vehicle, and when you become 50, 60 years old, you're going to need a good vehicle to get you around. And if you have thrashed your vehicle while you're young, you're going to regret it.
No, there's a couple guys out there that push it like Magoo did, but, you know, in a different way. They're still thinking long-term or whole season. Magoo was thinking every lap and every moto, and he wanted to win or lead every one of them. And that was, you know, it's a different kind of rider. I don't think we'll ever see it again.
I'm often asked, would you do it all over again? And that's a funny statement, because of course I would do it all over again, but I would think a little bit more about the risk I take, and I definitely would think about the preparation that is necessary to be the best. Those were issues that I never thought about.
The rear of the bike was out at a 45-degree angle almost half the time, it seemed. Weren't you ever worried you were going to lose it?
No, I never was worried I'm going to lose it. I was just, you know, pushing my limit, and I guess that's what you got to do to win.
If you don't crash once in a while, you're not going fast enough.